This conference will now be recorded.
It's never connected. Shit, hataओ से.
Hi everyone, welcome to our session UI. Myself, I'm Krishna. I'm the trainer for this particular sessions. I'll be taking care of the UI, uh, entire frameworks and libraries. So basically, I'm a solution architect in the UI. I'll be working for the corporate. So I totally have the 15 plus years of experience in corporate development and team management, and also in the levels of architect. And this session entirely will be like an interactive session. So whatever we'll be covering is about like UI websites and how to develop the websites and what is the purpose of this particular JavaScript in this particular websites, defining and designing and development, and also what are the purposes of frameworks and libraries in this particular session. So, uh, so anyone has any idea about what is UI websites and HTML? So before going to start our session, so let me know about you, like how about the idea about the giving like entire UI structure. So that is what. How many of you are already known about the websites and web developments? If you let me know, so that will be easy for me to understand better about your requirement, and I can drive through that particular course. I'll start with Kalpana.
Hello. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Kalpana. I'm a full stack developer. Um, I I want to learn little bit more about Angular. I have already done one project with Angular, but not with the reactive forms and advanced Angular. I don't. That's why I joined this training.
Okay. Thank you, Kalpana.
And I don't know about React. So I would like to know.
Okay. Thank you, Kalpana.
Thank you.
And Krishna LCM.
Hi sir, good morning sir. So I don't know anything about Angular and React. I need to learn more about these things.
Okay.
So that's it.
So you know about web pages, HTML, JavaScript, and all?
No sir, I don't know. Presently I'm working only manual testing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Krishna. Thank you. And Ocean Jain. Okay, I think she is not there. I don't know. And Ram, how about you? Sharad Sharma.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
I know a bit about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery, and I don't know much about Angular. I am just I just went through YouTube and trying to learn. So basically, it will be new for me. So I'm basically fresher trying to learn, and I would like to have implementation some kind in some project so that it will be helpful for me job. So that's what I expect from this class, sir.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
cool. Thank you. Subhash.
Hi, myself Subhash. Uh, see, I worked as a full stack developer, and I worked with MVC, ASP.NET, and all. But I took a break actually, and now I'm planning to learn Angular and React.
Okay. Okay, Subhash. Thank you. Uh, Sudhir.
Hi sir, good morning. I'm a fresher just now. I just completed my BTech 2 months back. I'm not from this background, so I don't have any idea about this.
Okay. So basically, you're from which background?
EI.
EI. Okay. Okay. Not a problem. Thank you, thank you, Sudhir.
Thank you, sir.
So we have a mixed variance of the people like there's like freshers, experience from other backgrounds, and here and there. So someone from testing, someone from the development sector, and someone from the fresher level who don't know anything about it. But what is this particular session is about is all about the website performance. So what you do over here is whenever we see a website, what are the things to be taken care before you develop that particular thing? So this is all about the web development. Either it may be a web application or it may be a mobile application or mobile responsive application or whatever the portals. You can do anything, but these are all the basic things what we are trying to learn in this particular session. So let's get started our demo session. So this is just a demo about what is what and how it is needed and what it should be and all, right? So generally, this is the basic principles. Like these are all the basic principles of the web design. So what we are measuring with. So if your website is a good website or a good achievable website, you need to have to maintain these are the some basic principles which are I feel it as an important. We have many more, but these are the some of the features like availability, performance, reliability, scalability, manageability, and the cost. Cost is the main thing. So whatever you do, it should be like a cost-effective solution for whatever the client it will be. So generally, what is a website? So website is to like give or promote some information which the user or the clientele, for example, if he wants to promote himself, like about his product or about his service, he will be listing out some information and put it at the website to reach to everyone, whoever there in this world, whoever he is targeting to. Right. So that is the basic principle of this particular website. And to make some more interactive, like user has to interact with the websites, we will be needing this particular JavaScript and someone has to enter the form and someone has to get the data from the form. Someone has to send that particular data to the form like that. So we are making some websites to interact to the users so that they can get the information from this particular or we can have the services inside services implementation inside our web application so that users will take a registration, log in, use the services like that. So these are all the things which are taking the user interaction part inside our web applications. So this is what the purpose of this particular thing. So what are the core components of the web applications? So this looks little older structured, but this is the basic structure. We haven't have here like a web services and all, but I just implemented with a basic understanding level where it will be like. So let's come to this. So this is like where we are in this particular client. So client is nothing but here where we are accessing our websites through internet in our browsers. So here, what you are seeing in the browser is the front end, which will gives you the information about HTML, JS, and CSS. Suppose if you are doing any application in your .NET or any other Java, Springs, or whatever the code you will be, it will be. But at the time of the deployment, you are all compressing your code, whatever the server code or whatever your programming code into a bundling. So that bundle file will be a .js file, which is like a JavaScript file. Okay. So for any programming language, this will be very much needed. The compression and whatever the compressed version understandable or whatever the file which is understandable to the browser or these things, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And nowadays, we are getting the data from a database through using some APIs. APIs are nothing but application programming interfaces, which is serving some data through upon your logic from database to the front end. So we can use the media cache in between so that whatever the cache it will be like using for both the serving purposes. But here, API will provide the data and data will be sending to the front end in a structure called JSON. JSON is a format of data notation, which JSON is a JavaScript object notation where the data will sits into that particular JSON format and it is serving to the front end. So the JavaScript will read that particular data and push it in the front end with very ease of implementation. So that is what it is, the entire structure it will be. So now we are in this particular part, front end part, so that we are getting the data from this particular API. So we'll see how to get the data from database through an API to the front end and how the front end frameworks and front end libraries will be easy to implement this particular data in the front end level. So it will become simpler and easier when compared to your programming languages. So we are in this particular front end development. We need to understand what is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you can say these are all the prerequisites to learn your Angular, React, or whatever the frameworks you will be. Because market is going with this particular Angular and React, we are concentrating on the Angular and React JS. But if you know what is a library and how to implement a library and what is a framework, how to get this particular framework to be implemented inside our implementation, you can learn any framework and you can learn any library. So that's simple. And basically we're talking about the JavaScript. So JavaScript treats the entire web page, whatever the page we are talking about in the HTML, that page JavaScript treats as a document object model, which is like a DOM over here. We will call it as a DOM. And it is an object model which will be having the objects in a tree structure. For example, this page is a document and document will be having the HTML tags and head. And inside the HTML, we have the head and the body. Inside the head will be having the title. Inside the body will be having the different elements which is stating your data in the front end. So we'll see if you are a fresher, you don't understand about the structure and all. If you don't know about the HTML, I'll show you and practically about this particular HTML components and all. And what is a framework here? So framework is designed to reduce the overhead in the web development. We have several types of architectures, several type of framework architectures like MVC, three-tier architecture, and push pull based architectures and all. So basically, some MVC is very most popular framework, which is simple to understand, to get the framework understanding, and also have the good architecture about this particular whatever the application it is. So MVC is the most running or most craziest. We can take it as a framework, and we will be implementing inside our frameworks like Angular, React, Vue, and all. But here, make a note of this particular point. Whenever we are comparing with the server-side coding and the client-side coding, we treat it as client-side, Angular, React, and Vue. Whenever we are comparing with this particular front end, Angular is a framework, React is a library. Okay, so we'll see the differences, how it will be and all. So this is about the model view and the controller. So what is a web application development framework, which is having the model where the data will be stored and handled. This is where the backend connects, and view is the front end part where the page, which the single DOM, we are talking about the DOM, which is like objects in the front end. And the control handles the input and interactions for like buttons, forms, and general interface. So what is the backend? So we are getting the data from the backend, which is through from API, and API, whatever the application programming interface, will runs on this particular commands. If you want to get the data, post the data, put the data, etc., it will be on these particular things. So we'll see how the API it will be. So it will be running on this particular whatever the consumables API with the response codes. So we'll see the REST API is one of the most useful things, so which is like a client-server methodology with the stateless resource-based, and we'll be using the same HTTP methods for any API like Web API or REST API. So these are all the terms, general terms we'll be using, like get method or get is the term to use that to read the data, like you are fetching the data from the database on your request, and that data used to read to the user, like which we are printing inside our HTML in the front end using the JavaScript or any other logic. And post is to insert the data, put is to replace the data, and delete is to remove the data. Patch is to complete update the particular whatever the instance or instance of data. And we can also have the custom methods, custom terms. It has to, like, we have to follow the basic codes of this. We have to follow the particular terms and conditions of the particular custom methods. It has to achieve the whatever the web API it is looking for. So those are all the terms. So for that particular terms, there is some request and response we'll be having. So once a page is requesting a server to get the data, we need to have we need a status codes, like the browser will be running on the particular status codes. If your status code is 200, you'll be getting the things are great. You can access the data. And if it is like, if you want to create some data, it is passing some 201 over here. And if you are having no content or upon the successful delete, it is getting 204. And if it is a bad request 400, another is at 401, 4-bit and 403, not 404. So you are about to confuse this, what is this terms and all. So if you are familiar with your I think some of the programmers will know about these particular things. Maybe they can understand or don't know, but I will show you what is the status codes and how it will be played a good role in our implementation when we are fetching the data from any other source. We'll see about whatever the structures and all here. So we're coming to this particular Angular. So Angular is a JavaScript framework which allows you to create reactive single page applications. And before going to this, what is a HTML and what is a, so we need to understand about HTML, what is HTML and what is CSS and what is a JavaScript over here, right? So the basic understanding about HTML is nothing but it is a front-end language which the browser will be defined on the basis of this particular HTML. So what is this particular HTML? The name itself, it will be telling you about this hypertext markup language. Well, what is this hypertext markup language? So the language which works on HTTP. HTTP is the protocol where your website will be accessing. The name itself is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and the language which it is transferring from that particular protocol to display the content on the website is called as a hypertext markup language. Why it is called as a markup language? Each and everything inside this particular HTML will be in the markups like this. So it will be in the tags, HTML, and it will be having the starting tags and ending tags like this. So the basic structure, it will gives you the markings like this. So it will called as a markup language. And we have the body, and it will be, the structure overall it will be like this. So it will be the basic understanding about it. So how the HTML it will be like this. So basically HTML, which is a hypertext markup language, like which we are defining the data or information in the front end using this particular language. And we need to understand how the structure it will be and what are the features and what are the versions of the HTML. And we'll see in a simple overview sessions, like we are having the brief discussions about the HTML, and also to add some attractive features to this particular website, we'll be using some colorings and stylings and animations using the CSS, which is nothing but the cascading style sheets. Cascading means is applying one on another. So style is applying for colors and whatever the styles, whatever you're talking about. So like it is giving you attractiveness. So basically the HTML is used to have the information on the website, which is like informative, and which is like styling, which is like attractive. And JavaScript is used to add the interaction to the website, which is like a scripting language, which is a scripting language to define So sorry, I got disconnected in between. You're getting my voice? Are you able to listen me? Yes, okay. Yeah, sorry, the net got disconnected and I just connected with another alternative. And basically, like we are about this particular scripting language, so which is how to define the interactiveness to our websites using the JavaScript. And in this particular JavaScript, we are having the libraries and frameworks. So library is nothing but in general, what is the library? Library is a collection of whatever the information we have. So here the library is a collection of the whatever the predefined functions or whatever the predefined things inside your JavaScript to make the code simpler into our implementation. So that is called as a collection of the of predefined things. So predefined whatever the functions or predefined libraries or whatever is predefined. Okay. So a framework is completely another interactive thing, so which includes inside your, it is also a kind of library. It includes your libraries, but it is playing a role in the front end to play with your front end code to have the interaction, like whatever the interaction things, user interaction things more betterly, more efficiently than the libraries. But libraries will also do the same. But here, what is the difference is whenever you are using the libraries, so the library will have this entire control in this particular code itself, whatever in your scripting language, it will be taken care. But the framework sits in the front end of your HTML. It controls from the DOM itself, and it is taking the control of everything inside this. And also the framework will can include the libraries inside our framework, but the libraries will be working in a standalone. So let's get this particular discussion, and we will be having the libraries. We'll be understanding this particular libraries inside our implementation, which is like in our course content. We will be discussing about the React.js is the library and Angular is the framework over here. So these two things like Angular and React are similar, which is like a simple to understand, but what to use at what times, we need to understand that thing. Okay, someone uses React.js, someone uses Angular.js. What are the purpose? Both are doing the same when it is the same. So it will not most on your performance of your Angular and what the React will do. Coming to the Angular, we will share the course content entirely. Where the course content is completely based on that whatever the UI things which it will be. So I'll tell you that so that we will discuss the things. That.
Hi, just for a minute, he'll be back. Okay.
Now you can hear me.
Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So generally these timings will be like power cuts here time. So the power is getting on and off. So it's okay. So we'll see how is the course content is about. Like first we'll start with the UI technologies and what is the basic HTML and CSS, how to implement the HTML and CSS, and what are the elements in the HTML, how to define the HTML pages and all. So we'll have some form elements, how to use this particular form elements, and how to make some action types and types in this particular form elements. And also in the session 2, we'll be discussing about some CSS things which is primarily useful for you is to define all those things. Basically, you are a developer, you need to take care of this particular CSS things as well. So, and the next thing is like in the CSS, we have the responsiveness, like to achieve the responsive design inside your implementation, you need to understand about a frameworks called Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is one of the familiar framework which almost all the clients will be using about this responsive. We have many other things, but to understand one framework is simple. Like if you want to, if you are able to understand this particular Bootstrap framework, then you can able to understand other frameworks like Foundation, Human, lot many other frameworks are there to achieve the uh, responsiveness. So here, Bootstrap is a good system. So we'll be discussing about Bootstrap. And after that, we will be discussing about the JavaScript. So what are the basic things in the JavaScript and how to include our JavaScript and how to call the methods and how to create the whatever the DOM elements and how to control using this particular DOM elements inside your JavaScript and all. And we will be defining the data, so sample data, mock data, how to include inside our JavaScript and all. So we'll be switching into this particular advanced JavaScript. So basically, the JavaScript which was evolved from a global standard called ECMAScript, which is like the global standardization of your scripting versions. So where your JavaScript falls into ES5, ECMAScript 5, and later it was like advanced JavaScript is into like ES6, so which is like this. So we need to have to understand about what is this ES5 and what is ES6 and how to implement this particular ES6 over here. All your frameworks and libraries, Angular and React, it will be based on ES6 standard only. So first we need to understand what is the JavaScript and basic structure of the ES5, and then we will uh, implement this advanced JavaScript concepts and how to change your ES5 functions or how to change your ES5 things into ES6 is completely like that. So we'll see in detail about the advanced JavaScript as well. And jQuery is one of the library which is in the very most first days it will be used as a library. So we can like in nowadays like Angular includes this particular jQuery as a lighter version, and you can also have the discussion if you are interested on this particular jQuery also. So we'll see a simple overview how to implement this particular jQuery and all. And we'll start with the React.js, because why we are starting with the React.js is once you're done with your JavaScript and advanced JavaScript, it is easier to understand the React.js, like the one step ahead with the JavaScript, advanced JavaScript, and the React.js. And then if you learn the React.js and the environment is set up and everything, so we need to have to understand about this AngularJS. So this is about the React.js and how to create the workflows and all those things about the React.js you can see in this particular sessions. So basically, I have defined the sessions based on the hours of availability and all. If you're having any questions or queries, we just clear it up in that particular session, and it will be like a complete practical implementation. So whatever the concepts I'll be discussing over here on this particular day or on this particular session, I'll be giving you a practical implementation or a practical program for that particular thing. And it is not like a slideshows kind of thing. It will be like a writing the program on your in this particular session, and you have to know about what I am writing and why I am writing that. Okay, so that is the main intention of me to draw in this particular sessions to get you more attentive about the coding, what you are writing, why you are writing about it. Okay, in each of every session, it will be like that. And mostly feeling like we can also implement the single page application architecture using the React programming, and also like how to use the form validations, and there is advanced concept like Redux is used to like managing your state and whatever your uh, events handling. So we'll see how the Redux it will be, and how to implement this particular Redux, all those things. And you can also test your own development application using the testing feature, including in this React and Angular as well. So we will be doing our testing and deploying our app, whatever the application we call it as, to in this particular thing. And also we can have the Boris project to build a burger builder, or we can have any other project over here, which is like a this burger builder is some uh, interactive project, so that they can understand better about it. So that is the reason I have included that. And you can also use we will see after that we will be using the Angular JS concepts, or how to use this Angular JS inclusion inside our implementation. We will be seeing in that particular Angular, and what is this particular Angular, and Angular JS basic version, and also like a single page application architectures. And we will be jumping into the Angular 2 versions, like which is like the first version, which is in the JS, is Angular JS. And Angular 2 is completely inside, you are developing inside the TypeScript language, which is like similar to an advanced JavaScript language. So, which is a strongly typed language. So we'll see how the Angular it will be, and what are the versions we will be using, like Angular 2, Angular 7, and Angular 8. Currently, we are using Angular 8 over here, and how to do the setup of this particular CLI, and what is the Angular CLI it will be using, and what is this particular application is all about. We will see the components, and what is the data binding, directives, all those things we will deeply dive into that. So you can see the data binding, services, routing, single routing for the single page application architecture. And we have the observables and handling the forms. We will be having two types of forms in the Angular, reactive and template driven. So we'll be seeing that. And also we have some front-end transformations using the pipes and requests, authentications, lot many more. So in this particular application, we will be creating a sample application, and we will be trying to get the data from a service-oriented database or any other database. So we'll see how the API will works, and how the database will fetch the data, and how it will be included inside our project, and how to manipulate the data in the front end. So we have a complete workflow architecture, workflow setup for this particular project, and how to deploy this particular project, and all we will be seeing from end to end in this particular scenario. So this is all about the 35 sessions we initially planned, but it may increase to few more sessions. So which is like depends upon your requirement and your clarity. So I just want to give you this particular thing. So if you can see here, Angular is basically with the version, it started with version 1 in 2009, and the market was familiar about 2010. So it was Angular, we call it as a Angular 1 version, we call it as a Angular JS. And after that, in 2016 around, it will be like completely rewritten into TypeScript, and it was like Angular 2 and 4, 5, and 6, and 7. So it will be called as a Angular over here, whatever the latest version from 2 onwards. It's called as a Angular because it is not a JS, so it will be called as a Angular only. And whatever the version you will be seeing in the Angular 1, it will be called as a Angular JS. So which is like currently we are having two availabilities in the market, like Angular JS is up to like latest version is 1.7, and Angular is the 8.0 now, which is like here the versions. And it is fully featured framework, which is like a SPA framework, which is used to implement the single page application architecture. And it includes all these features, and which we will be discussing inside our implementation when we are going to implement this. And Angular, which is having a ES6 and TypeScript support, and it improves the speed and performance, and it is a modular, And Angular, compared to the Angular JS, Angular supports mobiles and tablets more interactiveness and more programming inside their mobile applications and all. But here, make a note of that. We are not making any mobile applications over here. We are just giving you the web application development, which is responsive and which you can access inside your mobiles using the responsiveness. Okay, we are doing the web applications only. If you want to have the mobile applications development, you need to improve your skills based upon your Angular. There is a Ionic framework will be there, which it will be achieving you the mobile hybrid framework to develop your mobile applications. Okay. And in this particular Angular to implement, we'll be using the Angular as a CLI, which is a command line interface, and we will be taking the help of the Node environment, which is like a Node.js over here on your right side. And we will be using some other Angular dependency components to include everything inside this to execute this particular Angular programming. And Angular will be having a lot of other features, like which is the primary components over here are the structural directives and data binding modules, components, templates, services, and dependency injection is its core strength. And some changes which we have discovered in this particular Angular 7. So comparatively, version to version, there are few changes that will be happening inside your versions. So we have figured out some of the differences over here, and also like you can understand better when once you go into this particular code, what is the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript and how it will be and all. So it is just like TypeScript is a little more typed over here, so which your data type will be mentioning at your variable so that it will be more strong type to language. Okay. And JavaScript, mostly like JavaScript is a component like which is a subset of this particular TypeScript, which was it was evolved from the particular TypeScript version, and where the JavaScript is the familiar one to make use of our websites and all. And these are all the building blocks what we are trying to understand about the Angular. And AngularJS has these are all the positives, and some of the negatives will be this particular Angular will be having the relatively slow when it comes to displaying enormous amounts of data. You will see how it will be slow and all, and it is like it is not an SEO friendly ad as desired. So for that particular thing, so we'll be having the React as a library, a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. And it is also the same thing which is implemented based on the Node.js and which is working on this particular library. And which it will be taking everything inside your JavaScript code like this, where it will be using the React components to integrate your application or your DOM structure or here. And these are having some life cycles of which is React is entirely falling into. And React requires more code in some cases, and it requires manual processing of data and view oriented. So these are all the negatives for the React, and it is like it is a SEO friendly. If you want to build a SEO friendly website, and if you want to have some little faster website, then it will be like this. So if you can see in the fast one, it comes to displaying a big amount of companies. So React helps you to faster access and SEO friendly, and Angular implements whatever the components and everything will be like that. So if you want to choose whatever the React and Angular among the Angular and React, you can choose like this. But everything is having a good support like this. So this is the older comparison, which is like it you can add few more years like this, so 9 years, and this is a 5 years. So age is like 9 years and 5 years, and extensibility for both it is extensible. And Angular, it is incorporated by the Google and maintaining by that, and you can have a lot of support, and it will be like that. And React, it will be like maintaining by, and it was like discovered by the Facebook and Instagram team. So this will be like having more support. And you can compare to this particular speed, the speed of the Google, whatever the Angular, it will be providing with 1.34 seconds, and where the React, it will be achieving using the 310 milliseconds. So which is faster than your AngularJS. So comparatively, DOM is completely browser dependent over here, but React uses virtual DOM over here. which is like we don't have the HTML structures, we just only have the JS files, which your HTML files will be maintained as a virtual DOM. So let's see in our coding, it will be a little interesting. So which is like a completely new topic for you because till now you'll be using only DOMs over here. You don't use the virtual DOMs. So here we'll see how the virtual DOM it will be. And coming to the structure architecture, AngularJS is fully MVC framework and Facebook is a view component. It completely depends upon your view of whatever the virtual DOM and the view component over here. And learning curves like easier to start coming to the React, which is like you have already learning about the JavaScript and advanced JavaScript. It is easier to start with the React. So that is the reason I just started with the React and then I just concluded with this particular Angular. So difficult at first, requires knowledge to specific concepts such as DOM directives, filters, and factories. Once you learn it, it is easy to crack your AngularJS. Okay, so this is what the structural components are: HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, which is the important prerequisites for both the courses, if you can see. And here also in the React, you can have to integrate the HTML with JS with using the JSX. So whatever the classes, CSS, everything will be used the same here for the React and Angular as well. So that is the basic reason I just started with the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So maybe after this particular slides and all, after the course contents all and all, you'll be having lot many questions. What is this particular course about and all? So if you can ask me questions, I'll clarify your things and we'll conclude this particular session and we'll start from the whatever the new beginning from the particular Monday or whatever the next session it will be.
Sir, my first question is, what will be the timing from Monday, the regular timing? Is it 8 o'clock or what is?
Cheryl, regarding to the timings, our organizer will be in touch with you, like it mostly on the morning session or in the evening session. Mostly we are planning in the morning session itself.
So
What
the
is your
time?
comfortable timing?
Yeah, that's fine. Something around like for me is after 8 or 8:30 or even 9. That's works. That's about time. Leave it. And the other thing is, I that's the 35-hour total session is pretty much we are covering for the React and Angular together, right?
Yeah, it may take a little more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I see that this syllabus looks pretty good and everything. Only my concern here is like because this Angular 7 or whatever is fully based on TypeScript, right? So are we not focusing some time for TypeScript because we have to understand this one too, right? How many sessions do you think we have to take for this TypeScript and everything?
So TypeScript generally we will take care in 1 to 2 sessions, which is covered inside this particular basic concepts only. So when we are switching from Angular JS to Angular version, so at the starting level we will defining how the TypeScript will be and what are the things you need to take care of the TypeScript and all.
Okay. Then if we need to add anything like I get a lot of calls on interview and sometimes people asking for the like Angular material too, so we can discuss maybe one lecture or something on that too, right? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. We are having a lot many other components for the Angular thing, so which is having adding some more interactions in the Angular animations or Angular material or some other components like other things also there. So how to include your bootstrap and all those things I'll have in this particular course scenario. I'll explain everything.
And regarding this, like Angular with uh, the first thing is you said Angular is a framework and React is a library, right? Just like Java jQuery is also library, as far as I know, and framework is more stronger than library. If I mean I may be wrong or anything. So why do we need to study React? It's a library and Angular is a framework. what's the difference, and why do we need to have it the library rather than framework here?
So both comparatively, like framework is completely which is handling in the front end DOM actually. So you'll be having the control in the front end itself. So which is like your DOM structure, which is like your document object model. If you want to have the particular control on the front end inside your code, which is like a inside your JavaScript code, that will be like library will be handling. So that is the only difference over here.
Okay. And what about the are we because at the time of learning Angular, we will be using some kind of API to get back from the server, right? Are we using any? Because I'm from I know a little bit about C# and ASP.NET Web API. Can we have some example like Web API on C# side calling Angular, and or how do we go on the server side? How do we test it, especially for this course?
In this particular demonstration of this course, I'll show you how to get this particular API and defining the API. It will be like using some other third-party servers. Some cloud servers will be providing some APIs. We'll be using that, or else inside your C# code and also you'll be generating and some APIs which is fetching some data. You can also use that in your example. We'll see in that particular thing. So I'll show you how it will be the API will be generated and all.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you. Yeah, that's all from my
Yeah.
side. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shri, and I had a question. So your
Yeah.
course content, your syllabus looks too vast. I was just thinking, like, if I want to just focus on the React and the ECMA script. So,
Mm-hmm.
is it like, because how long is this course duration for? Like, how many sessions are you planning to for this?
Actually, if you know about the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, so everyone is like familiar. If everyone is up to the mark with the HTML, JavaScript, and understanding is good, then we can finish it in 35 sessions. Okay, if you are new to the particular course, it may take little longer time. So 35 sessions is around 7 weeks, which is like weekly 5 sessions. So it will be like 7 weeks. It may go around 8 weeks as well.
So if I just want the ECMA script and the React, then can I know like when would that start?
According to the sessions wise, you can take that particular thing. I think it is from the session 3 or 4. From the fourth session, it will be like ECMAScript. ES6 you are talking about? Advanced JavaScript?
Yeah, advanced JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah, that is from the fourth session onwards, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. You just do one thing. You just tell the organizer. You just ask her to inform you whenever you want to join on the particular advanced JavaScript. So I'll make a note. I'll send information to the particular organizer, and the organizer will be in touch with you. You can join on the particular session.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Basically, on this, the first few days will be like review HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, because I can see some people here are like without web development, so it will be helpful for them. So that's why you added those sessions, right, sir?
Yes, because those are very much needed. If you don't understand those things, you can't able to implement where to where and what to implement at your
Yeah.
locations and all. Yeah.
And the people who know it, that will be revision for them too. I think so. That's
Yeah, that's it. So I suggest you to get through this particular revision as well, so that it will be good for you. This
When
is
is this
simple.
starting?
Monday onwards.
And what is the price of this course?
I will discuss with you. Batch is starting from Monday. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'll give you other details. Okay, I'll call you and I'll give you.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Everyone, please do check your mails for the updates regarding timings and all. And even I'm going to share you the recorded session of today's one along with the content. Thank you.
Sudhir, you are there still?
Sir, I have still one question. Can we develop some kind of like the sample project at the end of this I mean the class, like making
Yeah,
some, yeah, that's
yeah,
what
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Actually, we are planning to like each and every concept will be explained practically only. So, which is like we are just creating a simple projects over here. By end of that particular course, we will be explaining entire real-time scenario project so that you can understand what to include and how to do the particular example and all. So, there will be a project in the React.js and there will be another project in the Angular as well.
Right, that would be helpful because the thing is with some of the terms, whatever, like everybody can, watch. There are some videos on
Yeah.
YouTube, but the thing is, how do we implement and work on a project, maybe on a job that may be helpful. And I would like to, the project need not be a long because we are not anyway having a lot of session like 3-4 months, but at least cross operation or insert update and displaying or at least some that might help for us.
Yes, yes. Once you got this particular regular practical implementation, you can have a better understanding about how the project was included. So at the end of the particular session, you can easily combine or the things whatever I have included in that particular project, and you can easily identify and integrate it at your own level. So that will be easier, not a problem. So I'll make
Yeah.
sure you can develop that particular application based on whatever the skill we have.
Yeah, and then you can even share. I
We'll be
think you
sharing
are
all this.
you
Only
can
thing is to like daily you have to concentrate on the topic.
yeah, okay.
You can also share your experiences so that we can see the troubleshooting and all. Okay.
Right. And you said like you are working professionals here and it's a long time, maybe your knowledge in the real world application, because we are just a learner, right? So that may be
Yeah.
helpful. If you have anything to share, that would be great
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely adds you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
And- Yeah. Sudhir.
Sir,
Yeah, I don't have the idea about JavaScript HTML, but still you can follow this particular course because we are starting with HTML basic things only. So how to start with the basic things and how to work with the JavaScript and what is JavaScript and all. So daily I'll be giving you some here in this particular sessions. We will be giving you some topics. You just have to discover those particular topics. Like we will be explaining something, but all the things it is not possible to define in a single session. So what we will do is we will cover every topics over here. You need to discover those particular topics you out through the Google or something like that, and you can learn those simple things to put it inside your thing. So how to do those things and I'll guide you over here. But you need to do a simple practice. Initially, you don't know the things, so the first week you need to work little harder
okay, sir.
to get these things. So then you will be ready to go with the other things because the first 5 sessions will be covered only the basics and how it will be and all. So daily you just improve your things and I just give you guidance how to do this and clearly follow this particular sessions. That's it. You can get anything, not a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit concern about this timing. Actually, I mean, I don't know about rest of the other guys. Like is, it will be little fast timing. Is there any way we can set up something around 8:30 or I mean 9? Again, it's my preferred timing. I don't know about rest of other.
Timings you just discuss with the organizer because I'm occupied from 9 o'clock onwards. So I'll
Okay.
see how it will work.
Oh, you said that you occupied with 9.
Yeah, today is Saturday, so I don't have any other session, so I just taking this demo. But regular days, I'm occupied from 9 o'clock onwards.
So you have office hours after 9 or you are taking other session too?
Yeah, I need to go to the office, and I just want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, if you don't have any other questions, we'll conclude this here. And we'll see you in the session one. Thank you.
So you said one quick question. Basically, you work on like a front end with Java technology or .NET or PHP, or what do you work? So I mean, I'm just asking like, what can we discuss, especially on the server side, if we need to get data, you know, although we won't spend much time on the server side, right?
Yeah, Sharad, I'm a solution architect. I'll be taking care of all the technologies. Like in my present scenario, in my present organization, I'll be working with the .NET team, with the SharePoint, and the Angular with the AWS. So all these
Okay.
combinations will be working out over there, and also we'll be using some MongoDB and some of the Node.js implementations. We are having lot many other teams. So I'm a
Okay.
solution provider for that particular project. So a few projects will be in this particular streamlet, so that it will be in this particular scenario. It should be run like that.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah,
interesting to know. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. Okay, then. See you guys.